Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Maureen Palmersheim, for you that don't know me. Um, so I'm writing a book called Modern Legend, and it's about a girl who, well, through her imagination, she travels to these different places, prehistoric places in Italy and Rome. And I talked a little bit in the last video about how she gets from prehistoric Rome to Ireland. And, well, she basically everything in the made up world is a reflection of her real world. So, Maertes is kind of her mentor, and she meets her in real life at the Celtic festival in her hometown in Montana, and Maertes kind of became her friend. Just from their meeting there, Maertes had a booth that was like a caravan, an Irish caravan, and the Celtic festival is actually like based off a real place. So the Daily Mansion in Hamilton, Montana, where they celebrate all things Irish and have all kinds of ancestral and cultural activities. So anyway, Maertes was like a fortune teller there, and Laine met her, and Maertes basically said that Laine, was supposed to live or walk the spiritual path rather than the karmic path, and a lot of that is through faith and instinct and yeah, just going with the flow of life. And so anyway, Laine's in her fantasy version sees Maertes again after she separates from Romulus at the Latin festival, and she just kind of feels like her journey with him is over. She feels like she's reached her higher self, which was kind of she found by going along with him, and so Maertes comes to kind of show her she's at a crossroads, and she comes in her caravan and gives Laine these amber beads. So these amber beads are like previously thought of as worthless, but all of a sudden they just became really popular. So they're like traded all throughout the land, and everybody wants these amber beads because they remind them of like some kind of ancestral thing that's been forgotten, part of their DNA, I guess, and like a rhythm or something that they catch on to. And anyway, when Laine gets these amber beads, she's able to go to Ireland, prehistoric Ireland as well, and basically enters the cattle raid of Cooley myth. And in the myth, there's Cuchulain, who's the 17-year-old hero fighting against Queen Mebd's army, And so in this version, my version, Laine is fighting alongside Cuchulain, but Cuchulain represents Max, her like ex-boyfriend, and she's supposed to kind of like relook things, and because she is older, she is in her 20s, late 20s, and in the story she's helping him, a younger version of Max basically, because he's only 17, and so she's going along with him in the cattle raid of Cooley, trying to find basically the brown cow, which they're all trying to get to. So they're trying to get to it before Queen Maeve comes and takes it back to her palace, so she can become all powerful basically. So that's my story in a nutshell, and the only parts I left out, I think, is Queen Maeve represents Laine's boss, Gwen, who she used to work for at the children's home, which is like another thread because she used to be a counselor in Montana. And so all the armies, the Ulstermen, who are on Cuchulain's side, are all young men, and they're, in Laine's view, part of the children's home, which is like a group home. So, you know, people tend to think of group homes as troubled youth, but it could just be any kids that, for whatever reason, don't live with their family. And yeah, that's basically the premise. And Laine, her motives are that she still has a kind of mixed feelings towards Cuchulain, as she's trying to become more of a mentor to him. So she sometimes still remembers their romantic involvement, and a big part of her incentive is she's trying to get to her higher self still. So she has to battle Morgan, which is like the war goddess, that is actually like Laine's own ego, coming out to try to thwart Cuchulain's efforts, because you know, she has that shadow side of herself, and I think we all have that shadow side of ourselves. So yeah, she's also, another part of her wants to prove to Queen Maeve that she's not just another Furzy head, which is what Maeve calls her sister. So I just imagine that being kind of a scatterbrain. But yeah, Laine eventually goes her own path and leaves Cuchulain and finds her own, you know, true worth and her true purpose throughout the journey. And so that's what I have for you guys for today. I wanted to leave off with an image of, probably not pronouncing this correctly, but Ptolemy maybe, his map of Ireland, because I don't even know when it was, but 1427, something like that. I'll correct this if it's wrong. He drew a map of Ireland without even actually being there, from Italy actually. So he did it based on the topology, the mountains, and through geometry he figured out where all the place names were and kind of guessed at where things were located even before he even stepped foot there. So in my mind, that's kind of an analogy of transforming into the person you want to become, starting from scratch basically if you're starting out new, and just kind of finding your footing. Just realize you can be both a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time, and it's perfectly okay. Thanks, guys. Ciao.